Welcome, everybody. This is Enrique Aleman. I'm the president this year of the Critical Race Studies and Education Association. And here with me today, very happy to have Miriam Flores, who helped us out again this year and did our artwork for the logo that we're about to release here in a few minutes. Um, Miriam, thanks for having a conversation with us today, and thanks again for helping us out with the logo.
No, thank you for having me to the logo for y'all again and giving me the opportunity to be able to create artwork for a lot of people to wear for this conference. So I'm
Yeah, I
excited
know.
for this logo to go out.
For sure. Yeah, I know last year because of the conference, the cancellation because of COVID and everything, when we met as an executive board, everybody voted like, yeah, let's work with Medium again because we weren't able to showcase your work the way we wanted to last year. And so this year, because we're going to actually meet at the University of Delaware, and then we're also going to do the virtual. And then I'll tell everybody in a minute that they can get their shirts, and once we release it, at least get your work out there because it's just really powerful. So before we release, I just wanted to ask a little bit about yourself, and if you could tell us, like, I know you're at the University of Utah and you're going to be graduating here pretty quick, super exciting. But tell us about yourself and the kind of artwork you do. I know you're a photographer too, so you're creative in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm a student at the University of Utah. I will be graduating in May with a bachelor's in fine arts and an emphasis in graphic design. A little bit about myself and my work. I got into doing the artwork that I do through my involvement. Um, I think going into like the University of Utah, being a first generation college student, it was a struggle for me to like understand things that were going around me, especially since my parents weren't able to like help guide me through college since they didn't go to college. And I think being involved and having all this like this huge support system, my involvement in Mecha and Somos Dreamers, I was able to create artwork, and that was my way of being involved and helping out my community by making visuals of things that I noticed and things that I felt were important to show through a visual. Um, I I think it was also important for me to show people who look like me, because not it wasn't all the time that I would see people who looked like me during like different lectures in my own classrooms, even like being in the art program. It was a predominantly white program, and it was hard to be able to relate to like what other students were like having for inspiration from like like other artists. And for me, it's only been like the Latinx artists, and now I'm starting to expand, my interest more to other POC artists, which has been really nice, and being able to present that to my classroom and like my professors, and showing them that there's more than just viewing a certain type of art.
Mhm.
um,
So you talked about, your student activism. Is that I was going to ask about what inspires you to do your art? Like what kinds of issues or what kinds of topics like inspires you to be creative?
so most of the things that I do is pretty much representation, and like the few things that I've been involved with, like with some streamers, um talking about like the undocumented like community, and just having these little symbols, that represent that community. um so when I create artwork, it's more like sharing what like people's thoughts. This is so the process that goes in behind like my art, like creating my artwork, is that I like to ask people what they think of a certain topic, and based of what they say is what helps me create the artwork that I create. So this is like I feel like um I think everyone brings
Hmm.
in something, some kind of inspiration into the artwork that I create.
Yeah. Um, what other kinds of projects have you done? I know you worked with us last year and then this year again, and I know you've been pretty busy there in the Salt Lake City area, doing different types of projects. But just, what are a couple that stick out to you that were really good for your development?
Aside from the projects that I do for like the program that I'm in, um, I know last year I did a drawing or illustration for the Edgar Montero campaign. I also did I think I did. I designed for the Metro High School Conference, um, and it hasn't been a lot of projects that I've been doing, but the little like opportunities that come to me is what I've been doing. Like right now, I'm gonna design a logo for a upcoming little small business. Um, Maybe I shouldn't talk about their project, but I think, let's see, I did something for a student who was doing a one woman show, and just bringing like creating an artwork that kind of highlighted her story of growing up. I think that was interesting.
Is that the goal for you? Like once you're done, is maybe freelancing or continue to freelance and build a business that way?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a lot of freelance, but also try to find a, a job where I can work for like a company, you know, I can get myself insurance.
Yeah.
I can't insure myself,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
good.
I'll definitely be doing a lot of freelance. So
And I,
whatever, when people reach out to me.
and I think I saw you the last time because I met you when you were first starting when I was at the University of Utah. I think you were a freshman when we first met, first year student.
Yeah, back in 2012.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And then I moved away, but then I saw you again at USC. That's the
Mhm.
last time when we had our last get together. You were able to go to the Critical Race Studies conference at that time.
Yeah, I've been meeting a lot of people, and I've just, como se dice, me les pego, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I'll go to the conference, and I just get to meet, you know, a lot of people, and it's been really nice. Like CRSEA, like I wouldn't have met anyone there if I hadn't gone with Lily. Shout out to Lily Castellan.
That's right. She's now a
She's the
professor.
one that brought me to CRSEA,
Yeah.
and it's been nice because I've met so many people there. I got to, you know, um, go back and meet you and Sonia and Doctora Delgado Bernal, and yeah,
The
it's been
Utah
awesome.
connection. Yeah. Well, let's show everybody. I'm super excited to let everybody see the work that you've done, and maybe we can talk about it. You see that? Everybody see that? I think so. This is this year's logo that will be part of our program, and then you'll be able to get a T-shirt of it. Maybe we can talk through. Obviously, the theme is there, racial realism in real time, but maybe talk through kind of some of the biggest elements that you kind of try to bring out in the theme.
So let me see. I have my little notebook not with me, but a lot of the things that went into this design was what you all did a survey for me.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of you wrote like about reconnecting, being able to see each other, hugging each other, you know, and starting to build up from what we left off at. Because a lot of like when we went back into like when we went into the pandemic and weren't able to do the work that we were doing for our communities, we had to work from home. So for this was like kind of like building up to, you know, to back to that process that we were working towards. Um, I was actually my intention was not to make this look like an eye, but my sister I think pointed out that this looks like the iris of an eye, and I thought that was interesting because that reminds me of like visioning, you know, towards the future, and I was like, wow, that goes with it, you know, even though it's not like the complete eye, just like the circle itself being, you know, built, reconstructed. Um,
Mhm.
that reminded me like, you know, visioning into the future and how we can make things better. So a lot of that went into it. With the butterflies, like I said, I have like these symbols that represent like, you know, immigration topics, the protesting, the sit-ins that you all mentioned in your in the survey, being like, you know, together again at the bottom, or even like hugging each other. And I also decided to use last year's like little, you know, the little mujeres that I had on there from last year's shirt. I decided to put them on there again, but facing the other way, you know, so it looked like they were facing, you know, looking into the future, you know, for what was coming. So that's kind of what went behind this whole thing.
Is that Earth right there in the middle?
Yeah.
The planet?
Hmm.
Yeah. Awesome.
Kind of,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I
making
know,
sure.
I know that several of the committee members met with you. We did do a survey, and then we asked our membership, and then we also kind of met with you to talk through the theme. Yeah, like you said, we've been going through so much since the last time we were together in California at USC. Everything from obviously the pandemic that's really impacted a lot of our communities and families. Um, and obviously we were living through the George Floyd murder that we all witnessed, and then the racial reckoning that's happened since then. Obviously the economic strains that all of our families and communities are feeling. And now, most recently, it's been happening, but it's more vocal. The anti-critical race theory, so-called movement that are happening not only here in Texas where I'm at, but across the country. That's not something that's going to go away, I think. And so that's one of the reasons that a lot of us were talking about reconnection and just the physical act, like of being able to be in the same space together in Delaware. For those of us who can go, is just going to mean a lot to a lot of us, because that's, for a lot of us, that conference has been a place to go and to reconnect and to really feel inspired to be around each other. And I think you really did capture that.
Yeah, thank you. The funny thing is that it takes me a while to come up with the design. This isn't something that I just put together. Actually, like this, I was in class listening to a lecture and I just sketched this up in like 5 minutes. And I was like, what the heck? I'm like, this past like month, I was struggling to come up with a design. And I just sketched it up in like 5 minutes. And that's where I started putting in all the detail, like what should I put here and there. But no, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm happy to hear that you all are happy with it. And I hope that everyone who's watching this is excited to be wearing these on, I don't know, the shirts, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
thank you.
Just one more question I had, like how you do this using graphic design tools, or how do you go about?
So I use Adobe Illustrator for this, but I start off by sketching it up on like a piece of paper, and then from there I draw it out on like my iPad on Illustrator, and then I transfer it onto my computer, and that's where I start adding colors onto there.
Yeah. That's great. And it is kind of a throwback, the three mujeres that you have, or the three persons that you have in the center. I hadn't noticed that they were facing the other way from last year's logo. So I like the fact that you kept that carryover.
Thank you.
Well, that's the big reveal. I did want to ask you, Miriam, about where people can look you up. I know that you have a website.
I do have a website. Let me see.
And we can share it.
Yeah,
But
if you want to share it, I can
Yeah.
email it to you. I
Yeah,
do also have my Instagram. I have like a whole bunch of Instagrams, but the main one is the Arte de Miri that you can all visit me at on Instagram.
So if there's other organizations or other clients that might want to like work with you, that's the place they can reach you.
Yeah, they
Okay.
could definitely send me a DM on there or email
Awesome.
me through the website. There's a link on my Instagram on there with all like the different Instagram accounts that I have and my website.
After I saw last year's logo, just to let people know, Medium was really easy to work with, because last year during the COVID, during the pandemic, I wanted to buy my wife a special gift for her birthday, and she ended up designing a real cool original art piece for as a surprise for Sonia that I did, and it's of our children, and it represents the kinds of people that they are, and she really used some photos that I gave her, but also she talked to me about what I wanted it to represent and that what Sonia would like to see. And so it's hanging in our house now as an original piece of art that you worked with. So thanks for doing that. And she's an awesome artist to work with. So anybody that wants to support her, we'll definitely put your Instagram information on the release so that people can contact you if they want to work with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
As a student that's going to be done here pretty soon, we were super excited for you to be done. Just some quick reminders. Again, the conference is beginning October 27th through the 29th at the University of Delaware. But as we've been telling everybody, it's a hybrid conference, and so you can still register. And we're still working out the details. I know Dr. Nate Williams is working feverishly with his team to get the program done. We've seen drafts of it, so we're just trying to get the last bits of that done, and then we'll release that on the CRSEA.org website, so make sure you keep up to date with that. Just as a reminder, we are going to have to meet the protocols of the University of Delaware for those who are able to go face to face, meaning we're going to mask up inside, and we're also going to, they're requiring vaccination, proof of vaccination. So if you don't have a vaccination, they're going to ask everybody to do a test prior to coming. So again, we have all that information on the website. And then finally, we're working, now that we have the logo, keep up to date. We'll get the word out when the shirts, we're not going to have shirts with us, but folks can order them. And Dr. Angel Jones is really been working hard to make sure that those are available. She's got a process where you get them really quickly. So there's going to be options for you to purchase them. And again, that helps the organization that's really done by a lot of volunteer work. So hopefully you'll be able to purchase that. I think that's all for now. Thanks again, Miriam. And it's great to see you, and we'll be in touch.
Of course. Thank you so much.